As the title of the lesson probably suggests, we'll be learning the len, trim, and if-error formulas. Now, I don't use these nearly as much as I do the sum, min, max, average, those kind of formulas, but I do use these pretty frequently, and I personally believe these are a must-know for every advanced Excel user. So let's get started. I'm going to press Control Home. We're still in our workbook. I hid some of these columns just to make it easier to see. So now we have the number of orders, the discount, and the customer satisfaction. So let's say you were doing a separate column for the discount. Let's say you wanted to give the customers a 10% discount if the discount is yes, meaning that yes, they do have a discount. So that would be an if formula. Let's go if this over here is equal to yes, then let's give them a 10% discount, or 0.1. If it's false, let's go ahead and leave it blank. Close it. It's no, which means it's false. Okay, so that's good. That checks out. Let's copy it down. So these yeses down here should be 0.1. So let's see what happens. That's weird. There are formulas here. Looks like it's spelt the same and everything. Why isn't that working? Well, let's check it with the len formula. I'll go ahead and delete those. Let's go equals len. So that stands for length. So let's check with good. Oh, I'm sorry. It was len. Down here. Close it. There we go. So 4. That means there are 4 characters in this cell. G-O-O-D. Yes, that's 4. But watch what happens when I change this M2 to K2. 7. So why is this giving a 7 in this? Well, let's click on this. There are some trailing spaces in this cell. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, then 6, 7 for those 2 letters, and O, so that's 7. So yes, Excel is very picky. Think of Excel as a stickler for the rules. Excel will find out how many characters are in a cell. So it looks over there and says, is that a yes or a no? Looks down here, is that a yes? And it says no, that is a yes plus 5 spaces. So when I do that if formula, it's going to say false. That is a yes plus 5 spaces. So to get rid of these trailing spaces, to make our if formula work, we're going to use the trim formula. So let's go equals trim, and this gets rid of the trailing spaces that look exactly the same. So let's use our len formula. Equals len, let's go up, close it, 2, there we go. Now it's working properly. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and delete our VLOOKUP table. I just press Control Shift right down, delete, Control Home. Everything still works because the other column that we made previously based on that is static, which means they're no longer formulas, they're just text. So now, let's get rid of that. Now let's go ahead and replace all of these with the trimmed version. Let's go equals trim. Go down here, double click. And it looks like it's working properly. Let's press Control down. Yep, everything looks like it's working properly. There we go. So let's go ahead and press Control Shift down. Copy these. Press Control Home. Then I'm going to right click and press, for paste, I'm going to paste values. There we go. Press Escape. So now, let's click here. There we go. There are no trailing spaces now. Now I can Control Shift down and delete these. Don't need these anymore. So now let's see if the if formula works. If this is equal to yes, then 0.1. If not, let's leave it blank. There we go. So would that work? Yes, it would. There we go. All right. So that's how you do trim and len. Last one we'll be doing today is the if-error formula. So let's say for whatever reason you were making something, let's say the number of orders divided by some other column. Let's just say there was, let's say 3, 4, 6, but then let's say one of them was a 0. So if let's go ahead and just Control-Shift plus to add another column. So let's say there was some kind of if, well, not even if. Let's just do this divided by this column. That. So let's go down. Let's see what happens. Oh, there's an error. So this is a divided by 0 error. It means that if you take a number and you divide it by 0, you get infinity. And for some strange reason, Excel does not want to put an infinite amount of numbers in one cell. Strange, right? Now, if you wanted to say, okay, if there happens to be 0 in this, leave it blank. Well, then you could do if. You can do an if formula, if, blah, blah, blah. But if you know what the error is, what you could do is just if error, press tab to complete, let's go to the very end, press comma, and it says, okay, if whatever this is an error, then what do you want to do? Let's just leave it blank. So it's similar to the if. It allows you to type whatever you want. Let's just leave it blank. Let's complete it. There we go. Go ahead and copy this down. Actually, copy this up as well. There we go. So now all these are if error. Now notice that this is now blank. It's no longer an error. So this is a very quick way to get rid of an error, to leave it blank, or to put whatever you want. Some people, they put the stars. So you can easily see if it's an error. Press Control-Z to do that. So I wouldn't recommend doing this too often because it does eat up some of the memory. But it also is kind of a lazy way of just getting rid of an error that you don't want to see if you already know what it does. But that's the key though. If you know what it does, if you know what kind of error it is, what's really going on. If you don't know what it's doing and why the error is there, I'd recommend exploring it so you can figure it out. But it's a quick way of getting rid of errors that you don't want to see. I must admit, I am pretty guilty of using the if error a little too often, but it does make life easy for us. So I hope that was helpful. I look forward to seeing you again in the next lesson.